Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer. Let us not seek to fix the blame for the past. Let us accept our own responsibility for the future. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. Efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. Physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. Let us never negotiate out of fear. But let us never fear to negotiate. The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender, or submission. There are risks and costs to action. But they are far less than the long-range risks of comfortable inaction. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. Our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's future. And we are all mortal. My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Geography has made us neighbors. History has made us friends. Economics has made us partners, and necessity has made us allies. Those whom God has so joined together, let no man put asunder. Too often we enjoy the comfort of opinion without the discomfort of thought. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. A man does what he must, in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, and that is the basis of all human morality. The great enemy of the truth is very often not the lie, deliberate, contrived and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive and unrealistic. History is a relentless master. It has no present, only the past rushing into the future. To try to hold fast is to be swept aside. The greater our knowledge increases, the more our ignorance unfolds. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. When written in Chinese, the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger and the other represents opportunity. Man is still the most extraordinary computer of all. Our problems are man-made, therefore they may be solved by man. And man can be as big as he wants. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Mankind must put an end to war before war puts an end to mankind. It is an unfortunate fact that we can secure peace only by preparing for war. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. The goal of education is the advancement of knowledge and the dissemination of truth. I am the man who accompanied Jacqueline Kennedy to Paris, and I have enjoyed it. If we cannot now end our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity. In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility, I welcome it. For time and the world do not stand still. Change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. Domestic policy can only defeat us, foreign policy can kill us. A nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. Tolerance implies no lack of commitment to one's own beliefs. Rather, it condemns the oppression or persecution of others. A child miseducated is a child lost. We are not here to curse the darkness, but to light the candle that can guide us through that darkness to a safe and sane future. The best road to progress is freedom's road. Washington is a city of southern efficiency and northern charm. The world is very different now. For man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty, and all forms of human life. The sun doesn't always shine in West Virginia, but the people do. Mothers all want their sons to grow up to be president, but they don't want them to become politicians in the process. The problems of the world cannot possibly be solved by skeptics or cynics whose horizons are limited by the obvious realities. We need men who can dream of things that never were. America has tossed its cap over the wall of space. Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource. I just received the following wire from my generous daddy. Dear Jack, don't buy a single vote more than is necessary. I'll be damned if I'm going to pay for a landslide. There is always inequality in life. Some men are killed in a war and some men are wounded and some men never leave the country. Life is unfair. The pay is good and I can walk to work. If anyone is crazy enough to want to kill a president of the United States, he can do it. All he must be prepared to do is give his life for the president's. War will exist until that distant day when the conscientious objector enjoys the same reputation and prestige that the warrior does today. Once you say you're going to settle for second, that's what happens to you in life. We would like to live as we once lived, but history will not permit it. We must use time as a tool, not as a couch. I'm an idealist without illusions. If art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him. Politics is like football: if you see daylight, go through the hole. It might be said now that I have the best of both worlds: a Harvard education and a Yale degree. Our growing softness, our increasing lack of physical fitness, is a menace to our security. The human mind is our fundamental resource. The courage of life is often a less dramatic spectacle than the courage of a final moment, but it is no less a magnificent mixture of triumph and tragedy. We have the power to make this the best generation of mankind in the history of the world or to make it the last. The United States has to move very fast to even stand still. Sure, it's a big job, but I don't know anyone who can do it better than I can. I think "Hail to the Chief" has a nice ring to it. The basic problems facing the world today are not susceptible to a military solution.